Before I give you some data about Indonesia's potency for gaming industry, I would like to give you some data about global gaming industry to give you a comprehensive explanations. And the first data will be about 2019 global games market. So let's check the data. So fortunately, the data is still waiting for a rolling, but I would like to tell you about the potency about Indonesia as well. So basically, two countries with the biggest market share is USA and China. Total market share reached 48% in the world, while USA, it reached $36.9 billion US dollar. While China is the competitive here, it's 39 as well. But another fact that I would like to give you is the 2019 global gamers markets in percentage, of course. Now we have four categories in here. So we have Europe, Latin America, and North America, and Asia Pacific. And this year, the Asia Pacific region will produce game revenues of 72.2 billion US dollar, accounting for 47% of the global total. This represents a year-on-year growth of 7.6%. And China remains the most important market in the regions for the coming years and will reclaim its sport as the #1 gaming market in the revenue by 2020. Which countries that hold positions as the world's largest gaming market share? So let's check the data. This is the data that I presented you before. So let's to be clear, there are two countries with the biggest market share in the gaming industry. So USA and China, for the total market shares, as I told you before, is 48% in the world. While for USA only, it's 36.9 billion US dollar. But while at the China, we can see the data, it has a heat competitions in here. In three, we can see the data is kind of similar. It's 36.5 billion US dollar. And in 2019, the US will overtake China as the world's largest gaming market by revenue. And overall, the US games market will generate 36.9 billion US dollar at this year, as I said before. And predominantly, it's driven by its 13.9% growth in the console games revenue. At 18.5 billion US dollar, console represents more than 50% of the total games market in the US. Meanwhile, in China's 9-month licensing freeze on new games in 2018, as well as the measures to reduce screen time among children, are still felt throughout 2019. The suspensions of this game licensing stems from the Beijing's campaign to combat the gaming addictions. How about 2019 global games market per device and the segment? So we can see the next data. By 2019 global games market per device per segment as utilized for the gamers on the gaming market. So we can see we have three categories in here. First of all is mobile as the dominant one. The dominant ones from mobile devices reach 45%. And next we got here with the 32% of PC, and the rest is from the console itself. And mobile gaming will generate revenue of 95.4 billion US dollar in 2020 and account for almost half of the entire games market. And this will be driven predominantly by smartphones with a revenue of 79.7 billion in 2022. Although mobile is indeed still the world's fastest growing games market segment, growth is slowing in mature markets such as North America, Western Europe, and also Japan. And emerging markets including Southeast Asia, including Indonesia, India, and Middle East, and also North Africa, will contribute most of the segment growth. And one of the biggest potential market for gaming industry, Indonesia, had been filled by foreign gaming players. And the potential had been noticed by them, considering Indonesians' habit. As it is from the next graphic. Through the next graphic, we can see the most visited entertainment content by Indonesia. First of all, we can see the film and videos. It's like 45% of the most visited entertainment content by Indonesians. And the second one is gaming. Although it's quite jump a little bit, but it's reached the second positions is also game. It's a 17.1%. And then the music for 14.6%, and sport match for 5.9%, and karaoke for 1.6%, and radio for 0.9%, and others, which is 13.5%. With a total of 143.26 million internet users in Indonesia, Indonesia is one of the biggest online market worldwide. As for June 2019, online penetrations in the country stood at slightly over 50%. And popular online activities including mobile messaging and social media. And the most popular social network in Indonesia is Facebook, with 81% of the online populations using the platform. And mobile internet usage is undergoing a double-digit growth rates and currently stayed at the 30% among the populations. Seeing this, it is convincing enough that Indonesia is one of the world's potential gaming market. Some interesting facts about Indonesia as a potential game market will be shown in the next graphic. So this is the gaming market potential in Indonesia. First of all, we cannot deny the fact that there are 43.7 million gamers in Indonesia. While for the gaming market, it's 16th positions market in the world. And the third one, the total game revenue. We talk about money here. It has a huge deal of money by 879 million US dollar. And Newzoo research puts Indonesia in the top spot among the gaming markets in Southeast Asia. Thailand and Malaysia come in at second and third positions with a revenue of 667 billion and 630 million US dollar respectively. And the gaming industry of the whole generates estimated as 100 billion US dollar annually. China makes the largest contributions to global gaming revenue with the 34.4 billion US dollar, and the United States, of course, comes in the second positions with a 31.5 billion US dollar. And these figures are derived from the Newzoo data. And the Indonesia Gaming Associations put out a statement claiming that a domestic gaming market shows an annual rate of 37%, which substantially exceeds from the growth of the game market in the among of Southeast Asian country. And the huge potential of Indonesia as a global market should be utilized by local gaming providers, so Indonesia can be a host in its own house. So stay tuned for market headlines because we will be right back.